Okay, everybody, welcome back to Chapter 8, Lesson 8, Volume and Surface Area of Composite Figures. Okay, let's take a look at problem number 1. We are asked to find the volume of that there. So what I think I'm going to do here is just kind of fill in some empty spots. If I come across here, I know that the top is 16, and I know that this is a 16. How's that for a straight line? I know that this is going to be an 8 right here. I know coming down this side right here, this is going to be an 8 also. So let's go ahead and figure this out. Okay. Well, this entire side right here, that's going to be 16, and this is an 8. So that means this side over here has to be an 8. Okay, because this 8 and this 8, they're going to add up to 16. Okay, so we know that this side here is going to be an 8. How's that? It's a little bit better? Okay. And then what we also have to do is figure out how far it is from here to here. Now, if this is 6, I can see that this is going to match up, so this is going to be 6 also. And then, this over here, this is 8 because this is 8. This is 6 here, because this is 6 right here, and then the same thing over there. So we need to know the dimensions before we can find the volume of that composite figure. Okay, so first thing that I'm going to do then is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to kind of envision that this gets cut off right there. So we're going to find the volume of all of this stuff here that's on the left, and it kind of looks like that. Okay, so we're going to find the volume of that. So to find the volume of that, we're going to have to do 16 times 8, and then we already said that this side here is going to be 6. Okay, so let's do 8 times 16 times 6, and that's going to give me 768. All right, let's remember that. I'm going to erase this over here. So we got 768. Now what I need to do is I need to find the volume of the right-hand side of this. So not the stuff that's on the left, but all of this cube over here. We're going to find the volume of that. And then what we'll do is we'll just add the volume of the cube to the volume of the rectangle. And that was 768. So what we have to do on this one here is, if you recall that this side here, right there, this is going to be an 8, and this is going to be a 6, and this is going to be an 8 there as well. So I'm going to do 8 times 6 times 8. It doesn't matter the order that you do it in, and that's going to give me 384. So 384 inches cubed. So let's go ahead and add those together. So we're going to get 1,152 cubic inches. I think it's just going to be quicker if we just say inches cubed. Okay, so what you guys want to do is you want to remember that you're kind of looking at this as two different pieces. You're going to find the area or the volume of the yellow rectangular prism, which actually comes down here, and then you're going to find the volume of the red cube. I guess it's technically not a cube because this is an 8 and this is a 6 over here. If it was 8 and 8 and 8, it would be a cube. But in any case, what we have is 1152 for the volume of that composite figure. Okay, let's move on down to number 2. Okay, problem number 2, we're going to do it kind of the same here, you guys. What we're going to do is we're going to find the volume of the cube, which is underneath it. And then after we find the volume of the cube, we're going to go ahead and find the volume of the top. I'll do the top here, which is in purple. Okay, and then after we do that, we're just going to add them together. So let's go ahead and do the volume of the cube first. If I do it in yellow, I don't think you guys will be able to see it, so I'll do it in red. So the volume of the cube then is just going to be 8 times 8 times 8. So that's going to go ahead and give me 512. So the volume of the cube is going to give me 512. And we're going to add that into the volume of the top. I guess I'll go ahead and turn that into a purple. So now the top, remember, the top is going to be, the volume for the top is going to be, the volume is going to be 1/3 base times the height. So we have to do 512 plus 1/3 base times the height. So the first thing we want to do is recognize what the base is. So from here to here is 8, and from here to here is 8. So then the base is going to be 8 times 8, which is going to be 64. So we'll do 513 plus 1/3, and we're going to do 64 times the height. Now it's kind of tricky over here. If you look at this 6.4, that's the slant, okay? And we don't want that. We want the height, and they're telling us the height is right down here, so the height is going to be 5. So we're going to say 64 times 5. So let's go ahead and do 513 plus, you can do this a few different ways. I think it might be easiest for you guys if you just do 64 times 5. And if you do 64 times 5, that's going to give you 320. So we're going to do 1/3 of 320. And that's really just the same as taking 320 and dividing it by 3. So that's going to give us 106.6 repeating. So let's make this a 0.7 instead of 0.6 repeating. So then we'll just add those up, and that's going to give us 618.7 cubic feet, cubic feet. So we'll just say feet cubed. Okay, that's it for problem number 2. Now for problem number 3 and 4, we're going to find the surface area of those exact same figures. So it's going to be kind of like wrapping paper. If you had to wrap everything up in paper, what would it look like? So we would wrap the front, we would wrap this side, we'd wrap the back over here, we'd wrap the back over there, we'd wrap the bottom, and then the top as well. Okay, so let's move on down to number 3. Okay, number 3, we are supposed to find the surface area. And let's go ahead and fill in some blanks right here on some of the missing measures. So again, if we got to figure out this side right here, and we know from problem number 1 that that's going to be an 8. So this is going to be an 8. So let's see, and we also need to know what this is right here, you guys, and that is also going to be an 8. So let's put an arrow to that, and let's just say that's 8. So we're going to find the surface area. So the surface area, and we got to find the surface area of the front. So the surface area of the front is going to be all of this yellow here. Okay, and that's just going to be 16 times 8. So let me change colors so we can see that. So the surface area of the front is just going to be 16 times 8. And then what we're going to have to do is we're going to go ahead and have to add in the surface area of this piece here. Okay, and we know that this side is 8, and we know that this side here is 8 because of this. So when we add those two together, we're going to do plus 8 times 8. All right. Now that's going to give us the surface area of the front, which is just like that. But there's also the back. So the front and the back match. So I'm going to find the surface area of the front, and then what I'm going to do is multiply it by 2, and that's going to give me the surface area of the back as well. So let's go ahead and do 16 times 8, and that's going to give me 128. And then we're going to do plus 8 times 8, which is 64. So that's going to give me the 128 here, the 64 there. So we'll add those together, and then after we add them together, we're going to go ahead and multiply by 2. So when I add them together, let's do this. Let's see, times 2. So this is going to give me 192 times 2. And 192 times 2 gives me 384. All right, so 384 is for the front and the back. I'm going to go ahead and clear the screen, but I'm going to keep the 384 on the paper. All right. And we know that the 384 is for the front and for the back. I'll put that right over here. Sorry about that, you guys. Difficult to write with a pen. Okay, so now what we need to do here is we need to find the surface area of this top piece. And if that's 16 in the back, and from here to here is the same as it is from here to here, so that's going to be a 6. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do 16 times 6. So 16 times 6 is going to go ahead and give me the top. So 16 times 6 is going to give me a 96. Now there's this top right up here, which is 96. And then the bottom of this section right here and the bottom of this section right here, they have to add up to the top, right? Because, you know, you got the bottom here and you got the bottom here. So they'll add up to this section here. So that's also going to be a 96. So I'm going to do 16 times 6, which is 96. And then we're going to do 96 times 2. And that'll give me the top and the bottom. And that's going to give me, that'll give me 192. All right, so we got the top and the bottom, which is 192. We've got the front and the back, which was 384. So ask yourself real quickly, what do we still need to find the surface area of? So we still need to find the surface area of the sides. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and clear the screen here, you guys, so I can write back up there. We're going to have 384 and 192. So we've got 384 and we've got 192. Okay, so now what I need to do is I need to find the surface area of this section right here, the front here, or the area, and that's just going to be 6 times 8, and that's going to give me a 48. So 6 times 8 is going to give me a 48. Now notice this section right here, this bottom one right here, that's the same as what we just did up here, because this is an 8 right here. We already know that this is an 8, and we know that this is a 6. So if we look at this 8 that's right here, 8 times 6 is going to give me a 48. So we've got that section, 48, and we got this section here, which is going to be 48. So we got a 48, and we got another 48. All right, now let's not forget that we have this entire side over here that we can't quite see. That's going to be just a combination of this right here, which is 48, and this right here, which is 48. So we're going to do another 48 and another 48. So plus 48. Let's see if I do my 8s that way. Nope, that didn't help either. Plus 48. Okay, so let's go ahead and do 48 times 4, or 48 plus 48 plus 48 plus 48. And that also gives me 192. So we've got another 192. So now let's just go ahead and add all of this up over here. And when we add this up, we get 768. And we're talking about inches. Now we're doing surface area, so we're just going to square that. So 768 inches squared. Okay? All right, we got one more, and then we will be done with this section here. Okay, number 4, find the surface area of the composite figure in example number 2. So this is what it looks like in example number 2. So we're going to go ahead and find the surface area. Kind of like wrapping this thing up. We're going to find the area of this side here, you guys. And that you can just see that that's 8 times 8, right? 8 times 8. We're also going to find the area of the front, which is going to be 8 times 8. We're going to find the area of the back, which is going to be 8 times 8. We're going to find the area of the left side, which is 8 times 8. And we're also going to find the area of the bottom, which is 8 times 8. So we've got 5 different sides. You know, the 4 sides around the outside and then the 1 bottom. They're all going to be 8 times 8. So what we'll do then is we'll just do 8 times 8. And that's going to give me 64. And we're going to have to do 64 times 5, and that's going to give me 320. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I found the surface area of the bottom cube, so what I'm going to have to do is find the surface area of the top, and then we'll just add them together. Okay, so I'm going to clear the screen and then write down 320 on the side here, just so we have a little bit more room to work. So we've got 320. So the cube is going to be 320. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the top here. So to find the area of this triangle right here, which is the same as this triangle here on the front. So we're going to do 1/2 the base times the height, because that's going to be that's the formula for the area of a triangle. So we're going to go ahead and do 1/2. Now the base is going to be 8, so we'll do half of 8, and that's half of 8 is 4, so you could just use the 4 if you want to. Let's go ahead and do the height. Now we're going to go ahead and do 6.4 right here. Okay. So times 6.4. Okay, so let's go ahead and do 8 times 6.4, and then we'll go ahead and take half of that. So if we do, so that's going to give me 1/2 times 51.2. And then we're just going to go ahead and take half of that, and that's going to be 25.6. Now, there's 4 of those triangles, the front, the right side, the back, and then the left side over there. So we're going to do 25.6 times 4, and that's going to give me 102.4. So now let's go ahead and add in the bottom with the top. So 320 plus 102.4 is going to give me 422.4 feet, and we're doing area, so it's going to be squared. Okay, so hey, it's a little bit tricky, you guys. You don't get that many problems in this particular section on your homework. You guys are going to want to go slow. You want to go carefully, I should say. Look at your formulas, and as always, you guys, make sure you guys are checking ConnectEd. And if this video tutorial isn't good enough, just go to YouTube. And once you hit YouTube, you can just go ahead and do volume of composite figures, or you can do surface area of composite figures, and you'll get a ton of resources there as well. Okay, so that's it for Chapter 8, in fact 8-8 and the entire chapter as well. Good luck on your homework.